sure that there's still a little fear about going out there? I mean, between Pluto having gone over your moon for the last 12 years and then Saturn having been in Pisces for the last 2 years, you've been knocked around quite a bit. But you know, there's a lot of initiative that you can take right now. And I would think that with your child, you know, again, you can just start new projects. Try to not remember or hold on to the past because it was very, very painful. Is that helpful?
Yeah. What about my future romantic prospects? Can you see anything there?
Well, right at the moment, you have Venus in Aries. So right at the moment, it's almost like your romantic, the things of a romantic nature might come a little bit more from a place of learning. So, you know, you might get involved with a professor, that kind of thing. Huh. A person of higher learning is someone that you want to be around right now. That's the person that would give you the impetus to look at yourself in a more positive, romantic light, but also inspire you. What you really need right now is inspiration more than you need the Venusian flavor of fun and love, you know.
And what signs would be good for me?
Well, it's always important to realize the opposite of your sun sign. So Virgo is very important in your life. They might frustrate you terribly, but they're very important for you. And you don't happen to know your rising sign, do you? Your ascendant?
No. Somebody once told me I had something in Leo. I don't know what that was, so...
Well, if you want to send away for these, you know, $2, $3 computer charts and find out what your ascendant is, your rising sign, you then want to look at the opposite sign. So if your ascendant is Leo, the opposite of that is Aquarius, and Aquarius would be a very good sign for you.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thanks.
Terry, thanks for calling. We're going to get to Joan and her fiancé just a couple of seconds away. If you have a question for Mary Michele, 241-1310. Back with Joan in exactly 1 minute.
There's a new way. A new way to buy or lease a new Ford car, truck, or van. There's a new way. It's the Fairway at Fairway Ford, Westchester's newest and nicest Ford dealership. And during our grand opening now through this Saturday, you can save big from MSRP on over 100 new Ford cars and trucks. Even hard-to-find models like V8 Explorers and 97 F-150 pickups. There's a new way, a new place for Ford service and maintenance with ASE-certified factory-trained technicians in a clean, state-of-the-art facility. Fairway will service any Ford, Lincoln, or Mercury vehicle, no matter where you bought it. There's a new way. Fairway Ford will beat any Ford dealer's advertised price. Just bring their ad. It's that simple. There's a new way at Fairway Ford, where the fairway is our way. Fairway Ford off Sawmill Parkway at exit 37, 255 Kisco Avenue in Mount Kisco, New York. Call 914-666-0500 for easy directions. Fairway Ford.
And we're on the phone with Mary Michele, taking your calls on astrology. Joan is calling from North White Plains. Joan, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you're calling for yourself. Date of birth 11/11/38, and your fiancé is 6/2/31, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you're on with Mary Michele.
Okay.
Hi, Joan.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Did you have a particular question about?
I really would like a general reading on both, and hopefully that they're compatible.
Okay. All right. Well, 11/11. You have the sun in Scorpio, as you know, and the moon in Cancer. This is a very harmonious angle. Have you been married before?
Yes.
And was it a good marriage?
Yes.
Yeah. You're definitely someone that understands the nature of relationships and commitment. You're very, very good at commitment. You know, the last 12 years with this Pluto in Scorpio has not been an easy time, but that shifted in November. Did you meet this person in November?
A little earlier than that.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like
that's when we got engaged.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Well, there's a rebirth happening here. Definitely, according to your chart. And, you know, the nature of Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, going through the sign of it, it's been about total annihilation, total death, so that you can be reborn.
Yes.
There's been something, you know, for the last 12 years that's been very difficult. But anyway, it's moving on now. You have Mercury in Sagittarius, Venus in Sagittarius. Do you travel a lot?
Yes.
Yeah. You're somebody that, you know, will you be able to continue to do that with
Oh,
this?
yes.
Good. Okay. Mars and Libra, that's a harmonious angle between Venus and Mars. You know, these are all very nice aspects in your chart. Things are very harmonious and fun. Saturn in Aries, you are coming up to your second Saturn return, so there's probably a little bit of worry about, the first Saturn return was in your 30s.
Okay.
And that was when you had to become an adult, sort of become your own person and break away. The real final break with one's parents comes at 29, 30, astrologically. That's what we call it, the Saturn return. And the second Saturn return is when we prepare for the remainder of our life. So, it's always a time when you have to take a good, hard look at things that, might be a little difficult. But I would imagine with the Sun in Scorpio, you're someone that's pretty good at doing that. You're not.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're planning now.
Yes.
And I think that you will plan well. It will come together well for you. I mean, what you've learned in the last 12 years is going to stand you in good stead.
Oh, good.
For this next. Let me just look quickly at 31. Okay.
Yes.
June 2nd.
June 2nd, 31. Okay, the Sun in Gemini, the Moon in Capricorn. This fellow cares about money a little more than you do.
Yes, very much.
Yeah, and he's probably feeling good about that this year. Money is either coming to him or he feels a little more secure.
Yes.
And you probably are somebody that gives him a sense of security. Hopefully not too much financial security.
No, that doesn't. I don't.
Mercury and Venus in Taurus. Yeah, I mean, he's very grounded, and he's probably quite sexy.
I think so.
Yeah. Mars and Leo, his chart is a little more difficult. He has more difficulty with relationships than you do.
Yes.
Has he been divorced?
Yes.
Yeah. I hopefully he will have learned the lessons, and certainly you are somebody that will help him very much along those lines, because you really understand working through the nature of relationships, and I would think that you'd be very, very good for him.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Anything about my relationship with my daughter?
Well, it's not been good.
It's been up and down.
Yeah. Well, again, if there was any shift in November.
Yes.
That
was a time with her too. Yes.
Yeah. It's again, it should be getting better. It's just what happens is we tend to remember the parts that have been the most difficult, and we tend to harp on them. So what we have to do is let go.
Okay.
Let go of that.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Okay, thank you for calling, Joan. Interesting comments there. All right, you had said opposite signs are the ones you look for, right?
Right.
Could you give us the opposite signs here?
Okay. The opposite of Aries is Libra. Aries is the first sign. It's the sign of the spring. The vernal equinox happens in April. The second sign is Taurus. The opposite of Taurus is Scorpio. The third sign is Gemini. The opposite of Gemini is Sagittarius. The fourth sign is Cancer. The opposite of Cancer is Capricorn. The fifth sign is Leo. The opposite of Leo is Aquarius. The sixth sign is Virgo, and the opposite of Virgo is Pisces. Those are the 12.
And conversely also, so we're okay on that.
Right.
All right, we're going to get back to Marjorie, who's watching on cable channel 12 in 1 minute. If you have a call for Mary Michele, 241-1310.
All hail! A funny thing happened on the way to the Forum has arrived, and the critics have spoken. Quite simply, it's Broadway's funniest musical comedy ever, says Joel Siegel, promising laughs, big laughs, hurt yourself laughs. In other words,
Comedy tonight.
Clive Barnes in the Post proclaims Nathan Lane is a national treasure, and a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum just happens to be great. It's one of those rare, terrific evenings that sends you home on air. The New York Times christens Forum Heaven Sent, while Liz Smith says if you don't enjoy it, you're just an old sorehead. And on TV, Pat Collins and Stuart Klein each experienced, or perhaps shared, an orgy of laughs. In fact, he decrees get your tickets. You'll laugh your togas off. So bring an extra safety pin if you have to, but see Nathan Lane in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum at the St. James Theater. Call Telecharge today, 239-6200 for musical comedy tonight.
52 degrees outside, 9:46. Taking your calls from Mary Michele at 241-1310. Marjorie, good morning to you. You're watching on cable channel 12 in Mohegan Lake. Date of birth is January 10th, 1946. You're on with Mary Michele.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, how are you?
Okay.
Did you have a particular question?
I'm wondering what's happening in the next 3 months.
Okay.
So.
You have the sun in Capricorn, as you know. You have the moon in Aries. This is a hard angle, so the nature of your relationships can be a little polarized. It's, you like to create the initiative and you like to be the leader, and sometimes you do that in a very solid, structured kind of way, and sometimes you do it by creating a little bit too much action. The moon in Aries, it's about a lot of action. Have you experienced in the last couple of weeks, has there been some difficulty with the women in your life?
Oh, yeah, a little.
Oh, yeah. This is something that you're going to have to work with. This is something that's going to come up, and I know that it's not an easy thing, but just by being consistent, consistency is going to be the name of the game. The moon in Aries is about perceiving your mother or your habit patterns as being a little bit too aggressive and a little bit too erratic. The sun in Capricorn, of course, likes things to be very structured and very organized and so on. Certainly in terms of your business or whatever work that you do, or even if you're a mother and take care of kids, you are someone that this year you're having a lot of luck with that kind of expansion, and learning how to grow in that particular area. But in terms of, the relationships, you're having to work a little extra hard at that. But you can do it. Capricorn really knows how to stick to it. It's a sign that understands the nature of discipline. You have to realize and come more into your sun sign, into the sign of Capricorn, and understand that idea of discipline. Does this ring true?
Yes.
You can do it, okay? It's going to be a little bit of a struggle for a while, but you'll be all right. And you do have luck in terms of business this year.
Oh, good.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Any major changes?
Any major changes?
Yeah.
I think just these relationships are going to be testing you.
Okay.
And you can rise to the occasion.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Thanks
All
for
right,
calling.
thank you for calling. Susan is online, too, watching on Cable Channel 12 in Mount Kisco. Date of birth is January 30th, 1939, 1:30:39. Susan, good morning. You're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning, Mary Michele.
Good morning, Susan. How are you?
I'm well. I finally got to talk about myself.
You're what?
I finally called about myself.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it.
But what you said a moment ago prompted me to call. You said people born with the opposite sign. For instance, my husband is Gemini, and when I was getting married, someone who was into astrology told me that we were very compatible. I'm Aquarius and he's Gemini, but you said the opposite was Sagittarius.
For him. The opposite of his sign, he's a Gemini. The opposite is Sagittarius. The opposite of Aquarius is Leo.
Oh, I see.
We're talking about you, right?
Yes.
But the thing is that, these are ideal situations. There is a compatibility between the air signs, and Aquarius is air, and Gemini is air, and Libra is air. So, that certainly makes for things. And, if you had your actual time of birth and had the chart done, you might find that you have Sagittarius very strongly in your chart. You do have Venus and Mars in Sagittarius. So certainly the attraction to one another, or his attraction to you as the flame, was very strong. So you see that connection. With Venus, you have Venus, as I've been talking about today, and Mars, both in the sign of Sagittarius. So these are the way that he was attracted to you.
I see.
And then the essence of the marriage, which is the sun and the moon, with the sun in Aquarius, and you have the moon in Gemini, so this is a harmonious angle again.
Okay.
You're able to work that out. And your moon supports his sun, which Carl Jung talked about as being the most ideal situation for a marriage.
Oh,
Okay?
that's wonderful.
Call back again and let's talk more about you. Okay?
Okay, thank you for
Thanks for
calling.
calling.
Let's go to line 3. Bob is calling from Chappaqua. Date of birth is 3/11/69, March 11th, 1969. Bob, you're on with Mary Michele.
Hi, I'm just going for a simple reading.
Okay. March 11th, 1969. Sun in Pisces, Moon in Capricorn. It's a harmonious angle, the sun and the moon, so your ability to blend your conscious and your unconscious are good. With the moon in Capricorn, it's not actually the best place for the moon because you kind of are dealing with the material world a little bit more in your habitual daily routine.
In other words, Comedy Tonight. Clive Barnes in the Post proclaims Nathan Lane is a national treasure, and a funny thing happened on the way to the forum just happens to be great. It's one of those rare, terrific evenings that sends you home on air. The New York Times christens Forum Heaven Sent, while Liz Smith says if you don't enjoy it, you're just an old sorehead. And on TV, Pat Collins and Stuart Klein each experienced, or perhaps shared, an orgy of laughs. In fact, he decrees get your tickets. You'll laugh your togas off. So bring an extra safety pin if you have to, but see Nathan Lane in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum at the St. James Theater. Call Telecharge today, 239-6200 for musical Comedy Tonight.
And good morning and welcome to Mary Michele taking your calls on astrology at 241-1310. So here I am. I see Betty Boop walk in because that's what she looked like today until she combed her hair out. And I said, hi. She says, did you know what Simon Tov and Mazel Tov means? I said, it's a song that Jewish people sing on happy occasions. Simon Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov. And then she says to me the following. Good morning, Mary Michele. It's not what she said, but what did you tell me?
Well, good morning, Mike, and good morning, everybody. The expression Simon Tov and Mazel Tov actually means good aspects and good constellations. The song really means, may we and all thy people Israel enjoy good planetary aspects in fortunate constellations. Of course, this is just one interpretation, I'm sure, that could be seen as a possible, it's one of the ways that one could look at this kind of thing. It's not saying that necessarily the Jews or rabbis, although this book was written by a rabbi, Rabbi Dobin.